Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chill Chat English. I am your host, Eric. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a business meeting, listening to your colleagues speak in English, and you suddenly have a great idea? But before you can open your mouth, you start translating the sentence in your head. You worry about your grammar. You worry about your vocabulary. And by the time you are finally ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on to the next topic. So you stay silent. Again, you become invisible. If this has happened to you, take a deep breath. You are not alone. This is a very common problem for smart professional English learners. The problem is not your English level. The problem is your strategy. Traditional learning, what we call Plan A, taught you to memorize vocabulary lists and grammar rules. But Plan A does not teach you how to organize your thoughts under pressure. That is why today we are using Plan B. Plan B is all about working smarter, not harder. In Plan B, we don't just learn words, we learn frameworks. A framework is like a map for your brain. It gives you a clear structure to follow so you know exactly how to start speaking, what to say next, and how to finish. When you use a framework, you don't need to panic. You just fill in the blanks. Today, we are going to look at 3 super practical speaking frameworks that will help you stop being invisible and start speaking with confidence in any meeting. And make sure you stay until the end of the episode, because we are going to do a special interactive shadowing practice. I will train your mouth muscles to use these frameworks automatically. Grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into framework number 1. Our first framework is called PRES. This framework is absolutely perfect for when you need to share your opinion or your perspective on a topic. It helps you get your idea across clearly and professionally without rambling or getting lost in your words. Let's break down what PRES stands for. P stands for point. You start by clearly stating your main idea or your opinion. R stands for reason. Why do you have this opinion? You give a logical reason to support your point. E stands for example. You provide a real-life example or data to prove your reason. S stands for summary. You finish by repeating your main point in a slightly different way. This leaves a strong impression. Let's look at a realistic meeting scenario. Imagine your manager wants to change the company software and asks for your opinion. If you don't have a framework, you might just say, I think it's bad because it's hard. That doesn't sound very professional, right? Now, let's use the PRES framework. Listen carefully to how structured this sounds. Point. In my opinion, we should wait before changing the software. Reason. The main reason is that our team is currently in the middle of a very busy project. Example. For example, last year we changed systems during a busy month and it caused a lot of delays and customer complaints. Summary. Therefore, I strongly suggest we delay this software change until next quarter when we have more free time. Do you hear how powerful that is? Point, reason, example, summary. It is logical, it is easy for your colleagues to follow, and, most importantly, it gives you a safe path to speak. When you start with your point, Your brain already knows that the reason is coming next. You will never get lost in the middle of your sentence again. Let's move on to framework number 2. This one is called the 3 Bs. The 3 Bs framework is your best friend when you need to persuade someone, convince your team to try a new idea, or get your colleagues to agree with you. Persuading people in a second language can feel very scary, but this framework makes it simple. Here are the 3 Bs. The first B is believe. You state what you believe we should do. It is your proposed action. The second B is benefit. This is the most important part. You tell them what is in it for them. What is the positive result? How will this make their lives better or easier? The third B is backup. You provide evidence, a quick fact, or a past experience to support your idea. Let's put this into a real-world scenario. Imagine you want to convince your team to start having a short, 10-minute meeting every morning instead of a long 1-hour meeting on Fridays. Here is how you use the 3 Bs to convince them. Believe. I believe we should switch to daily 10-minute morning meetings. Benefit. The benefit of doing this is that it will save everyone a lot of time and keep us focused on our daily goals. Backup. In fact, research shows that teams who do short daily check-ins increase their productivity by 20%, and it prevents small problems from becoming big delays. Notice how effective that is. People care about themselves. If you just say, I want to do this, they might resist. But with the 3 Bs, you immediately tell them the benefit. It will save everyone time. Suddenly, they are listening to you. Then, you use your backup to prove it is a good idea. Believe, benefit, backup. It is a winning formula for speaking up. Now let's talk about framework number 3, BLUF. This stands for bottom line up front. This framework actually comes from the military, where communication must be fast, clear, and efficient. In business, BLUF is the best framework to use when your boss asks you for a project update, or when you are speaking to senior managers who are very busy. Many English learners make a big mistake here. When asked for an update, they tell a long story. They start at the beginning. They explain all the problems, all the details, and finally, 3 minutes later, they give the result. By that time, your boss has stopped listening. BLUF flips this upside down. Bottom line up front means you give the most important information, the final result, or the main conclusion at the very beginning. Up front. Then, you provide the context and details after. Let's look at a scenario. Your boss asks, "Hey, how is the marketing campaign going?" Without BLUF, you might say, "Well, on Monday we had a meeting, and then the designer was sick on Tuesday, so we had to wait. But then on Wednesday, we launched the ads and..." No. Stop. That is too long. Let's use BLUF. Bottom line up front. The marketing campaign is successfully launched, and we already have 500 new signups. Context and details. We did have a small delay on Tuesday because the designer was sick, but the team worked extra hours on Wednesday to get it done on time. Everything is currently running smoothly. Do you see the difference? By giving the bottom line up front, you immediately answer the boss's real question. Is it done? Is it successful? You sound confident, in control, and highly professional. All right, you now have the knowledge of the three frameworks, PRES, the three Bs, and BLUF. But knowing is not the same as doing. To truly stop being invisible in meetings, your mouth needs to know these frameworks, not just your brain. This is where shadowing comes in. Shadowing is an active training technique where you listen to me speak and you repeat out loud, trying to copy my exact speed, pronunciation, and emotion. This builds muscle memory. So in a real meeting, these words will come out naturally without you translating them. We are going to practice 3 key sentences, one for each framework. I will say the sentence at normal speed. Then, I will leave a pause for you to say it out loud. Then, we will do it again. Please, don't just listen. Speak out loud wherever you are. Let's start with Framework 1. PRES. We will practice a great phrase to start your point. Listen first. From my perspective, we should delay this project. Now, it's your turn. Repeat after me. From my perspective, we should delay this project. Let's do it again. Focus on the stress on perspective and delay. From my perspective, we should delay this project. Great job. Now, let's move to Framework 2, the 3 Bs. We will practice introducing a benefit. Listen first. The main benefit of doing this is that it will save us time. Your turn. Try to sound confident. The main benefit of doing this is that it will save us time. Once more, link the words benefit of together. Benefit of. Ready? The main benefit of doing this is that it will save us time. Excellent. Finally, let's practice Framework 3, BLUF. We will practice delivering the bottom line up front. Listen first. The bottom line is, the campaign was a success, and here are the details. Your turn. Nice and clear. The bottom line is, the campaign was a success, and here are the details. Let's do it one last time. Put some energy into the word success. The bottom line is, the campaign was a success, and here are the details. Beautifully done. If you felt your mouth struggling a little bit, that is perfectly normal. That means you are building new neural pathways in your brain. You are actively leveling up your English. Let's do a quick recap. Today, we upgraded your Plan B strategy. Instead of staying silent and feeling invisible because you are searching for words, you can now use frameworks to guide your speech. Use PRES when you need to give a clear opinion. Use the 3 Bs when you need to persuade your colleagues. And use BLUF when you need to give a fast, professional update to your boss. Your assignment for this week is simple. Pick just one of these frameworks. Write down a fake scenario for your job. And practice speaking it out loud in your room 5 times. Build that confidence so you are ready for your next real meeting. Thank you so much for joining me today on Chill Chat English. If you found this episode helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me which framework is your favorite. Keep listening, keep practicing your shadowing, and remember, your ideas are valuable. It is time to let the world hear them. I'm Eric. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next episode.